Hello, everyone, and welcome to Jess and the Guest. My guest today is one of the best people I know, Uncle Joey, comedian Joey Diaz. He's the star of the Many Saints of Newark and has starred in movies like The Longest Yard, Spider-Man, Taxi, and My Name is Earl, just to name a few. You know, no big deal. He's one of the best comedians in the world and has millions of fans, which is the complete opposite of me, but somehow I got him to do this. He has his own podcast, Uncle Joey's Joint, and previously The Church of What's Happening Now, which if you haven't checked them out, please check them out. They're so good. He is an iconic stand-up, and in this episode, we break down the Many Saints of Newark, stand-up, acting, his worst gig, lessons that he's learned, and he gives me the best dating advice anyone has ever given me. I will never be able to say enough great things about him. I hope you love this episode. You look great. How's being in New Jersey? How's everything?
It's been well. This is a great place. I wanted to come back here to be close to the family.
Yeah.
My daughter to grow up like I did, crazy and wild on the streets.
Yeah.
I took the gym today with me, and I took her to get some lunch at the burger place.
Oh.
Now she's going to a pumpkin place with her mom and the neighbors. You know, just trying to put it together as a dad. You know.
Oh, I want her life. That sounds great.
It's fun. It's fun.
Oh, that's so nice.
We have friends and stuff. It's completely so different from California.
Yeah. Okay. So The Many Saints of Newark was truly one of the best movies I've ever seen. You were incredible in it. Like,
thank you.
What was the audition process like? How was it?
You know, I found out they were doing the movie, and I called my agent, and I had them reach out to them, you know, and see if there was any interest at all. And they said, sure, we'd love to have them read. And I read, but it was on tape. So when you read on tape, you're like,
yeah,
what?
So hard.
Now it's the way to go on tape. But 2 years ago, it was still like somewhere on tape, somewhere in person. When I really want to get a role, I like to go in there because I like them to see me and talk to me. But I sent the tape, and about a week later, I heard, you know, there was a little interest. Where was I at with it? And I was like, I'm in. And then they called like a week later and made an offer.
God, that's so fast too. I feel like that never happens. Like it normally takes months, I feel like.
Yeah, no, great.
Yeah. And that's so hard to do on tape too. Like I feel like I've never booked anything off tape. Or I don't know that many people that have.
It's so rough on tape. I know people now that call me all the time. They're like, I can't get this tape thing to work. You know, at first I had a struggle with it, but now I'm putting the auditions on tapes. I got a teleprompter. You know, I got a bunch of stuff, so it's a little easier to process.
Oh, what's an annoying quality about me is I always try and make things funnier. I feel like for a David Chase film, like if I were reading something, I would try and do that. Could you ever improvise in it?
Nothing. And I had a rough time with that because there was a lot of openings for a joke, you know. I think the first day they came to me and listen, man, your lines are great, but they're not going to fly. And then I went back to like his episodes in my mind.
Yeah. And
I fell right into his style. You know, his style is very dry, he's the master of silence.
Yeah.
So one of the second scenes I shot was the one in the funeral parlor with the TV.
Whoa.
That was my second scene. And that's when I got it.
Wow.
Like I understood his shooting, his vision, so to say.
Yeah.
It made the rest of the shoot a lot easier.
Wow. My God. Can't believe that's your second scene too.
Yeah, my second scene, I was like, wow, this is, because I kept improvising. And then that's when they came to me and they go, just give it a minute. Listen to the silence. And the silence made sense. So it was, you know, when you first get taught stand-up, when somebody pulls you aside and says, slow down up there, take your time, because I want you to say the joke and for it to hit. Take your time, you know, but as comedians, we rush it sometimes. You know, you'll say 3 jokes, they're still laughing at the first one, and you bombarded with 2 others.
Yeah.
In that sprinkling. So it teaches you that maybe less is better.
Yeah.
Some, let the joke simmer, let it resonate, and then hit them again.
Yeah.
So that's what I learned from David Chase, that sometimes silence can be very funny.
Yeah. No, I wish I was more like that. And it's such
Yeah, he's great. It's just when you're in the movie, you have to do it, and then you're like, okay, I just learned something very valuable.
Yeah. Were you nervous at all? I feel like I would have been so nervous with like The Soprano. Like I love it so much.
Nervous. I was nervous the first day.
Yeah.
I was really nervous the first day. Just what do they call that when you have butterflies in your stomach?
Yeah.
Yeah, I wasn't scared as much as I had butterflies.
Oh.
And once the first word came out of my mouth, I was home.
Oh.
Once you say the first word, you're home. That's it.
Oh.
It's like stealing from there.
Yeah. Did you have a favorite person you worked with on the set? Because I mean, everyone was so good.
I like John Magaro. I liked Samson, the kid who played Pussy. I really liked Michael Gandolfini.
Yeah.
I'm really good friends with John Bernthal. That's our second movie together.
Crazy.
We did Great together in 2013, and we met in 2012. I enjoyed everybody in that movie. Ray Liotta's a legend. He made me laugh my ass off. Yeah, everybody in that movie was great. It was long hours,
Yeah.
so you had to get along with them. A lot of espresso.
I know. I was gonna say, how did you stay sane during 16-hour days and tough.
Oh, yeah. You have a trailer, you could relax a little bit, and you could, I did everything. I always bring books. I always bring a computer with me.
Yeah.
I bring a movie. Now we have apps on our computer. We could watch, we could stream. I made it work for me.
Yeah.
I knew it was going to be rough. I had heard all about David Chase's style of shooting, and I prepared myself mentally. I didn't complain. And I got to be honest with you, on this movie, I get to a point where I'm a pain in the ass because you just get sick of being there some days.
Yeah.
This was one movie that I could look you in the eye and say I was perfect on.
Yeah.
My behavior was perfect. My professionalism was perfect. I really respected this job.
Wow.
This was the first, sometimes people come up to you and they're like, the line is the, and you're like, who gives a fuck? Ain't nobody gonna see this fucking thing anyway on Stars or whatever the fuck is. Ain't nobody gonna see this fucking thing. So that was, I was really proud of. I was into Grudge Match too. I've been into a lot of things, but this one, more than ever, I was really perfect because I wanted to be perfect. I wanted for them to, I wanted them to have a good taste in their mouth. There's a scene in the movie when Dickie Moltisanti is talking to Harold after we're in the club Silhouette. I was wrapped. I had rolled the biggest fucking joint you ever saw in your life, and I was in some corner in Brooklyn waiting for a fucking ride to come while I'm smoking this fucking bat. Yeah. And I'm stoned to the gills. The Uber driver calls me and says he's going to be 10 minutes. So I'm just waiting on the corner. It's 4 a.m. And I look over to the left and I see one of the PAs walking towards me. No. And I go, thank you. I go, you want me to sign out? And she goes, no, you're going to hate me, but they want you to come back. Now, if you know anything about me, 10 out of 10 times, I would have told them to fuck off and I would have gotten in the car and left. Not for this one. For this one, I kind of enjoyed it because now they got to see that I'm the real deal. So I went back to the trailer, put on my 3-piece suit, suspenders, socks, the whole fucking thing. I walked back in there to shoot this one scene that I watched that you couldn't even tell I'm standing there. Oh my. But it didn't matter. I'm not angry, It was what I had to do. And when I went in, I remember going to them, this is the most unprofessional fucking thing I've ever had. And they all looked at me. And I go, you guys for calling me back and me for being so fucking stoned. We all started laughing, and it was great after that. There was no problems.
That's such a mature thing for you to do too, because I know a lot of people who would not do that, and that's so impressive. Like, because that's a lot of extra work.
God, I would fucking leave.
I know.
Because you had to put wardrobe on and tattoos and football, and there was monsoon season. So every time it would cloud up, they would cut us.
No.
And then you get to your room, you're in the back room taking a piss, and the phone would ring. We need you back. And I'm like, fuck you. I'm not coming back. You should have shot me when I was there.
I know, yeah. Oh my God. Well, do you have a favorite scene that you did in the movie? There were so many iconic scenes, but
I like the scene where I got shot.
yeah.
I think the scene I did was the funeral parlor scene. That was my favorite day.
Wow. Oh.
And that day, you know, I liked every scene I did.
Yeah.
You know, when you look at it, I felt so honored that I even ended up moving to fucking Jersey.
Yeah.
Like, I felt so honored by this movie. You know, I left Jersey a fucking hellion. I left here in jail. I left here with 20 people looking for me. You know, I didn't leave this place as a man. I left this place. I ran out of here in 1985. So this was my chance to come back to this town with my chin up.
Oh.
You know, and even though I don't live in the same hometown I grew up,
Yeah.
I went up there Saturday night. They had the yearly carnival.
Oh.
And I went up there with one of my best friends I haven't seen since '93.
Whoa.
I got to see everybody, and nobody remembered any of the shitty stuff I did. They were happy to see me. And I felt like, you know, nobody wanted anything from me. They just wanted to take a picture and tell me they were proud. So it was kind of nice. It felt great. The drive home felt great. I got to see a lot of old friends. You know, the last time they saw me, I was a fucking mess.
Yeah.
It's great that they got to see me this way. And I walked in a gentleman and I walked out a gentleman. I didn't have reefer on my breath. I didn't have alcohol on my breath. I was just sober there because I wanted to in my heart, you know.
Oh, that's so nice too. And
yeah, really nice. It was really
like
nice.
The opposite of LA, where people don't want something from you every time you go out.
Yeah.
Like, what? What is that?
I could see that. I could tell my friends were really proud. And I could tell one of my friends, who I think is a pain in the ass, like, I love him. He's a freeholder. He's a politician.
Oh, gosh.
We break each other's balls constantly. But when he was saying my lines from the movie, I wanted to kiss him. Like, he was just, he kept busting my balls and saying my lines. Like, you fuck. And then I'm like, on the way home, I'm like, my friends love me. You know, they were my family when my mom died as a kid. So this is my gift to them. So they could walk around and go, I told you he was all right. It just took him a little longer to get there, you know?
Oh, that's so nice. One of the things I loved was you talking about like not being, you wouldn't have been ready for this opportunity. Like this was 23 years in the making. And that like, I love that so much because I can relate to it. I think a lot of people can. Like,
you know, when I went to the premiere with my wife, I was sitting there next to my wife 21 years. And, you know, me and my wife got together when there was nothing going on. I mean, there was nothing going on. We could barely make $700 a month rent.
Yeah.
So during the movie, at one point, it just dawned on me that I was like, it took me, let's be honest, it was 30, I'd shot it in 2019. I started comedy in 1991.
Wow.
So it took me, whatever it was, 28 years to prepare for that role. Like, that's the way I looked at it. You know, sometimes, you know, and I know a lot of young comics watch these podcasts and stuff, but sometimes you're going to be offered stuff that you're not ready to get. It's not that you're not talented enough. It's that you're not ready. I tell people, I booked the General Hospital a couple of years ago, like 3 episodes. And if I would have got that job, when I got to LA, there's no way I would have made it.
Yeah.
I don't know if you ever shot a fucking soap opera, but it's the opposite of a movie. Nobody talks to you.
Oh my God.
Nobody talks to you. Like when you get to ABC, they say, your ID, please. You give them the ID. They tell you what room to go to. You go to that room, and there's a monitor.
Yeah.
And they tell you when the scenes are going to be up to the fucking minute. You go out there, nobody says dick to you. Not a fucking hello, not a good morning. You go out there, you rehearse, they shoot. If you fuck up a line, you don't even start the scene up again. You start from where that line was. There was days I would go to work at 8 and I'd be in my car at 9:15.
Oh my God.
Like that's how quick soap operas were. But my point is,
Yeah.
I shot that, and I always think about this. If I would have got that job in 99, 2001, I would have been fucking lost, you know? And even to break that down as a comic, I remember doing comedy for 7 years, and the president of Israel got shot.
Yeah.
I remember making a joke that the president of Israel got shot, you know, whatever. They interviewed the guy who shot him, and he was Jewish, and he said, hey, $40 is $40, right? Now, I like that joke.
Yeah, I was gonna say it's a joke.
Wolf used to laugh at that joke,
Yeah.
but nobody would laugh at that joke, all right? I was doing comedy for 6 years. Nobody would laugh at that joke.
Yeah.
And I kept fucking shoving it down people's throats because I got a kick out of it.
Yeah.
To see their face. I got rid of the joke, and then I revisited the joke when I was doing comedy 20 years.
Yeah.
And the joke killed.
Yeah.
But the joke was too funny for me at the time. I didn't know how to deliver it. Sometimes, and we all do it. We write jokes that are over our head. We love the joke. It's a fucking fundamentally a great joke.
Yeah.
But we're not good enough to deliver that joke.
Yeah.
You know, when I started doing comedy, I looked up to Doug Stanhope a lot. I still do, because when you watch Doug, it's not what you say, it's how the fuck you say it.
Yeah.
So if you got a joke that's funny and you're the only one that's laughing, maybe it's because you're just not saying it right. You're not experienced enough to say the joke.
God, that's so
But
smart.
when it hits you, when it hits
Yeah.
you that you're not experienced enough, you go, okay, I'll revisit this joke.
Yeah.
Once you even say to yourself, I accept that I'm not good enough to say this joke, right there, you've improved 100% because you're being knowledgeable. You're being conscious of what's going on with your material. And that happens in this business.
Yeah.
We're given things that we're not prepared for.
Yeah.
And you don't want that to ever happen to you.
Yeah. Yeah. God, I could listen to you talk I'm like, yes, yeah. Why didn't I think of that? Yeah. Last question about Many Saints. Did you guys have like a cast bonding night or any? It just felt like everyone got along so well. And I was like, how did this happen? Like, how did you guys instantly just become friends, or did you do like, I don't know, a get to know you or hang out or anything?
I think we did a table read, and then we were all in the same hotel. The guys that were out of state or whatever, we were all in the same hotel. And the first night we hung out, you know, we just talked. But I'm going to tell you what I think the bond came from. I think the bond came from COVID.
Oh.
Because we got in 2019, and then in 2020, they were shooting for a week and they had to shut down. And then we had that 6 month nothing.
Yeah.
So when I moved here in August, we ended up shooting in September.
Wow.
So we did the baptism scene, the confirmation scene.
Oh my gosh.
September, and we all saw each other. And I think with all the death and all the bad news, when we saw each other, all of us were so happy to be on a fucking set.
Oh, yeah.
6 months, never mind that you're alive. You're working, you're doing what you like, you know. So I remember those 2 days like the back of my hand.
Yeah.
We were really happy. And I have no reason to lie to anybody, you know.
Yeah.
the pandemic it fucked up my mind a little bit for a while.
Me
For a
too.
long,
Yeah.
I mean, mental health is up right now. Yesterday was World Mental Health Day. I donated to one of the mental health things just because you don't really know about mental health till you fucking go through it.
Yeah.
And I went through it. I don't know what I went through. It was a bad batch of something, you know, like I stopped drinking coffee. I had to stop smoking pot. I had to stop doing edibles. I had to reprogram my life.
Wow. Yeah.
Go to therapy. I had to talk to a therapist every week. In fact, I spoke to her this morning.
Oh, good. Yeah.
Um, it was really, so I think that when we got there, we all fucking just embraced, and
Oh.
it was just it was a great experience all around. And the reason why the experience was so good this time was because I gave it 150%.
Yeah. Oh, you can tell it. Like you can tell in the thing. Like it shows. I feel like sometimes people are afraid to do that. I know I am too sometimes, like just to really go for something, but so impressive.
Go for it. You know, comedy is rough, and we only get a few opportunities of advancing ourselves.
Yeah.
But when you have those opportunities, you got to fucking dive in there.
Yeah.
This is it. This is it. Nobody's gonna. You know, comedy is not like having a fucking day job that you raises every 120 days. You don't. You know, so you have to grow, but you have to be very conscious of your growth. Like I would hate to be a young comic again. It's like being 20 years old. It's the roughest time of your life. You're
Yeah.
awkward, you're gawky, you know.
Yeah.
But
I can't relate
I
at
did,
all. No. Just kidding.
I did it right. Even though I cried a lot as an open micer, like my first 8 years in the business, you know, I came out of prison and I really wanted to do well.
Yeah.
And I was frustrated because of my growth. But now I'm happy that it took a long time.
Yeah.
This takes a long time. When you get into this, you have to look at this as a journey. And if you're not going to look at it as a journey, then get a day job. You know, look at it as a journey. And what's the word? Like when I got into this, I never thought about movies. I never thought of TV. I never thought about commercials because what's the use? I'm a fucking loser. I couldn't make it in the real world. So I was like, I'm not good enough to be in TV. Like if I go to LA and I get an extra job, I would be fucking ecstatic. You know, like I would be ecstatic. I remember booking my first movie and going, wow, they made a big mistake. Like, you know, like they don't know. They hired a guy that isn't even, I never went to acting class. I never did anything until I moved to LA, is what I'm trying to say. Like,
Yeah.
I had no aptitude for this. I just was a fan of movies.
Yeah. I feel like you can tell too that you're such a movie buff. Like you can, I don't know. I feel like you can see people who really love movies, even when you're acting. Like it's such a cool thing to see. So,
I love movies.
yeah.
You know, I'm a Cuban kid. And when I came to this country, I didn't know English. So I put myself in positions where I didn't have to talk. And
Wow.
what better position is the movies?
Yeah.
Movies for me were a learning. You know,
Wow.
I learned how to speak English from
Yeah.
watching movies. I learned how to become an American from watching movies. And I don't know, I was always like, for me, watching a movie was special. Like it was a ritual. I had to get Chinese food. I had to smoke a joint. You
Yeah.
know, I don't really like going to movies with a lot of people because they drive you fucking crazy.
I know.
I could go to the movies by myself and have a great fucking time.
I know.
You know, I smoke a joint. I go in there and I giggle like a retard by myself. And, you
I
know,
love it. Yeah. Sounds
so
great.
it's really weird. I really appreciate your kind words that I am a movie buff. And that's why I did so well on The Sopranos, because I was in my place. I was in my favorite fucking place, you know?
Oh.
So
There needs to be a movie done of your life too, because you have the most fascinating life I've heard of anyone. I'm like, this is a movie.
Oh, it's a
I
fucking
mean,
move. I'm writing a book now. Just got a deal to write a book. We're up to like I just started comedy. I'm up to 1995.
oh
So
my God.
the
I
book
can't
is
wait.
throughout. Yeah, I have to hand it in March of 2022.
Yeah.
And will probably be a Christmas release next year, hopefully.
Oh my God. That's huge. I can't wait to read it too. Cause
Yeah, I wanted to always like be an author, even though I'm doing most of the talking and she's doing most of the writing.
no,
And yeah, at nights I sit down and I outline what I'm going to tell her and stuff. So it's been a great experience for me also.
do you remember, is there ever a really like your worst gig in stand up? Because I've done so many really bad gigs, especially in the pandemic, in the rain, lightning, people running. Do you have any like bad? I'm sure you don't, but do you remember?
No, please. As a comic, we all go through the same 6 years. That's one thing that we all have in common. We all go through pain, struggle, and bullshit.
Yeah.
It's how long you take that, you decide.
Ooh, I like that.
As a comic, until you figure it out and go, this is not what I'm going to allow to happen in my life anymore. I've been on gigs where I got to the gig and I got to share a room with the other comic.
God.
I hate smelling men's feet, and I don't want somebody smelling my fault. Worst gig I ever did was my first road gig doing one-nighters. It was in Ogden, Utah, June of 1995. I was just completely lost, Jess.
Yeah.
I was just lost on stage.
I've been there. Yep.
I was lost. And that's fine. That's fine. That's a great place for a comic to be on stage,
Yeah.
is lost. I don't want a comic to give up
Yeah.
because they had a bad gig. You're going to be lost on stage. So what you have to do is find yourself.
Yeah.
That's it. You're going to be lost on stage. If you call me tomorrow and go, Joey, I don't know, I got up on stage and I was lost, I'm the first motherfucker to tell you, that's good. You're on the right path. Now it's you to find yourself. Call me in a year. Bye. And
I love
people
that.
do find that's what the job entails. So, but that first road gig when you're getting $90, you fucking need that $90,
Yeah.
and you're eating a bag of dicks on stage. People have no idea what that feeling is. It's anxiety, fear, anger, frustration, disappointment, suicidal thoughts, all rolled up in one.
Yeah.
I don't know anybody who's ever killed himself on stage, but I got to be honest with you, I was close. Doing one night, Nebraskan shit, fucking getting to gigs and they tell you can't curse because it's a Mormon audience. You didn't even fucking know. Like, I didn't know. Like, you get there and they're like, oh, by the way, you can't curse. Another time I went to West Virginia and they're like, every time you say the word fuck, you get fined $50.
What?
I went to another gig, West Virginia, and everybody had mascara on.
Yeah.
And I'm like, the gay bar, they were coal miners. I don't fucking know. I thought everybody had mascara on. I thought I was hanging out with Mick Jagger and his friends. Everybody had mascara on, So gigs are what, oh my God, I went to a gig one time and her husband was pimping out his wife for 40 bucks in fucking Tennessee.
What?
The road will get you prepared for The Sopranos.
Yeah. 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 God. Yeah.
That's why people tell you to go on the fucking road.
Yeah.
No, I'm just going to stay at home and travel and do spots. I'm an electrician. That's great. You're going to have to go out there eventually because all that bullshit is what prepares you for what's going to come later.
Yeah.
All that bullshit's going to make little bullshit in Hollywood seem like nothing.
Yeah.
Like we're going to have to break for 2 hours, go to your trailer for 2 hours. 2 hours? What am I supposed to do for 2 hours? Well, It doesn't compare to the night I was in Ogden, Utah. At least I'm in a trailer. I got fucking a cheeseburger. I got weed in my bag. I got water. Some girl keeps asking me 15 minutes if she could do something for me. You know, it's a great feeling. So that's why all that stuff prepares you for those big movies.
That's such a great way to look at things too. I'm like, yeah, I want to look. I wish I had that.
Yeah.
I'm gonna practice that outlook.
And people that have too much pride to take a door job are fucking retards.
I know.
Especially
Yeah.
at the store. If you, I right now, as a 58-year-old guy,
yeah,
that has been to prison, I went to college, you know, I've done it all. If you go be a door woman or a doorman,
yeah,
whatever you want, because if you do it for 2 years, it's the best degree you'll ever have.
yeah,
You're going to learn about emotions. You're going to learn about comedians. You're going to learn about comedy, which is what you want to do. It's an apprenticeship. You're going to see all different styles of comedy.
Yeah. Yeah.
Which gives you a broader base. I worked as a doorman at a club.
Oh, really? I didn't know that.
Yeah. Fuck yeah.
Oh, awesome.
I worked as a doorman, sound guy, and bar back, all rolled up in one.
Oh my God.
Taking out garbage, cleaning bathrooms.
Yeah.
Did it with pride because I knew it was a stepping stone.
Yeah.
It's a stepping stone, and it's going to get you ready for your David Chase moment.
Yeah.
Huh. And that's what you're getting ready for. You know, all these bands always have a great album. The first album is always great. Why? Because they've been practicing it all their lives.
Yeah.
The second album, people have a hiccup with. Except for fucking Led Zeppelin, the Kings of Rock. They put out Zeppelin 2. Judas Priest put out a great second album, but a lot of, like Sheryl Crow's second album was fucked up. Ricky Lee Jones, you know.
Yeah.
And that's because you've had all that time to work towards your first album. Your second album is going to be a year compared to 20 you had to work on the first album.
God. Yeah, you're so right. I've never thought about it like that too. And I'm like, yeah, it all makes sense. Okay. Do you have any guilty pleasure TV shows? Do you watch any like Real Housewives, or I'm guessing you don't watch anything like any or like I don't know.
No.
Yeah, I feel like you're too cool to watch any like.
The only show I watch over. No. I watch Narcos.
Oh, great show.
Over and over again every night.
Yeah.
I watch Sons of Anarchy. That's my. I love Charlie Hunnam. You know, I think he's a great actor.
Yeah.
Those are my guilty pleasures. Those two shows.
What is your favorite curse word?
Fuck.
Great one. Yeah.
Fuck.
I can't believe you don't
know.
People would say you couldn't curse on stage.
Listen, I went to shoot a Netflix special.
Yeah.
And they came to see me, 6 times.
Yeah.
Never had a fucking note for me.
Yeah.
Never had a note for me. Guess what? 15 minutes before I shoot the special, they gave me notes.
Oh my God. No pressure.
And what the fuck is this, And, every gig, not every gig is perfect. You have to make the gig perfect. If the gig is unperfect, you have to make it perfect. Yeah. If you're bombing, go back to your happy spot and start all over again. That's I've done it 1,000 times. Just take a deep breath, go to your happy spot, and start all over again. Start working on them, climbing on their legs, jumping on their hips, and next thing you know, you're there,
Oh, it's so...
I enjoy this whole entertainment thing.
Yeah.
But I did a lot better when I ripped the desperation away from me. And I realized it was a journey.
God, that's so... I wish I would have thought of that earlier. And last question, do you have any good dating advice? Because I need all the help I can get. If you have any good...
I have the best dating advice, I think. Because when I got into comedy, I was coming off a divorce.
Ooh.
And I knew that I was damaged goods. Mm-hmm. So I just had one-nighters. Yeah. That's it. If you somebody in Idaho, go have coffee with them if they want to have sex, whatever.
Yeah.
And when I met my wife, I was very cautious. I handled my wife because I was a fucking comic.
Yeah.
Nothing to offer these women, you know.
Yes.
They, you know, a woman will start dating you because it's cute to date a comic. It's different. You know, they go to work and, oh my God, you must laugh all the time. Oh my God, it's great. Give it a year until he
Yeah.
knocks you up. And then you're watching the fucking kid for 2 weeks alone. And he's calling you from North Carolina, telling you he's playing golf and
Yeah.
shit. No woman wants to hear that.
Yeah.
But so I dated my wife. I didn't think I was going to marry her. I'm like, I'm a comic. I'm not going to do this shit again.
Yeah.
So I slowed it up. But in slowing it up, I brought the best out of it. Like,
Oh.
it was kind of weird to describe. Like, she's really sweet, my wife. She's the reason why I stopped doing drugs, because I didn't want her finding me on the floor. You know, I found my mother dead on the floor, but I was cut out for that shit. I'm a dirty Jersey guy. My wife is a sweet white chick from Tennessee. She giggles at her own jokes. You know, if my wife would have found me on the floor, she would have never recovered. Some people can't recover from that shit.
Yeah.
So I knew that she was different, and I didn't really want to be a shithead to my wife. I didn't think we were going to get married, but if we broke up, I didn't want to lose her as a friend either. So I kept it slow. I took my time. It took me 9 years to marry her.
Wow. Oh.
Like, it took me 9 years to ask her, you know, and she held out towards the end, and I felt like a shithead, but I just wanted to be sure. I didn't want to put her through a divorce. I don't want to ever be divorced again. I'm a Catholic.
Yeah.
I don't want to walk around saying I've been divorced 3 times. You're a fucking loser because you failed at the most basic concept we have, and that's communicating with somebody else. That's how I really felt.
Yeah.
When I got divorced, I was very turned off on myself as a human being. I'm like, I already ruined one woman's life. I'm not gonna, you know, go shit on somebody else's life. That's just not good business, you know. But I did this one the right way, and you know, with love, it's when you're not looking.
God, you're so
It's
good.
when you're not. It's when you're not looking.
Yeah.
It's when you got that David Chase movie, you got a commercial, you got to go to France to meet fucking Princess Harry's uncle and do a commercial with him, and all of a sudden this girl wants to hang out with you.
Yeah.
She cook you dinner. You're like, what the fuck? You know,
Yeah.
why is you want to cook me dinner? You know, and it
Oh.
was that's what happened to me with my wife. Like, I just wanted to date somebody.
Yeah.
I think like 2 months in, I was coming to New York, and I maybe had $10 in my pocket.
Yeah.
She was a waitress, and she goes, "Do you have money?" And I didn't know what to say to her.
Yeah.
What do you tell a girl at the 2 month mark, that you're broke? You can't, you know. And I was like, I'm not gonna lie to her. I go, I'm broke. And she gave me her last $40 and half a pack of cigarettes.
Oh, it's so nice. Such a great story too. I'm like, oh.
And I knew all those things that she did. Like, even though I was doing coke and I wasn't the best boyfriend in the world, I knew that in time I would become that. And my wife and I, believe it or not, we have a great relationship. I'm very lucky that I have her. We have a great relationship. She's basically my manager.
Wow.
I mean,
Yeah.
she's it took me 5 years to give her that.
Yeah.
But before we make a move, I always check in with her, you know, because we're a team.
Yeah.
You know, we're a team. So she's a mom now. They just left at a pumpkin place with the neighbors, you know.
It's so nice.
They'll come back and we'll take them to a game, and
Oh.
that's okay now. You know, I'm not even doing stand-up anymore.
Yeah.
I'm
Yeah.
just doing acting and the podcast.
Yeah. Well, you have a lot on your plate. That's a lot. At least it would be a lot for me.
I want to start doing some guest sets pretty soon.
Yeah, do it.
Yeah, you know, I want to go back down to Parks Casino.
Oh my God. Yeah.
That's one of my favorite spots. You know, I'm a Philly fucking. If you know anything about me, you could tell I do great in Philly. I'm a
Yeah.
Philly guy at heart.
Yeah.
I know everything about Philadelphia. I went to Glassboro
Yeah. Oh.
before it became Rowan, so I was in fucking heaven because I got to go to the Sixer games
Oh.
every other night. They had Julius Erving and
Oh, oh my
Moses
God.
Malone.
Yeah.
I love fucking cheesesteaks. Everything about Philly, the roughness,
Yeah.
the way people talk, the way women talk,
Yeah.
everything about Philly fits in with me. So I
Yeah.
can't wait to go to park, see you, and
Yeah.
you can come
Do
through
it.
some minutes, and we'll have some fun.
Yeah. Thank you so much for doing this. You're truly one of my favorite comics. You're so funny. I can't wait to see more of your acting. Like, you're incredible. So I can't thank you enough for.
But
Oh wait.
just remember, pay your dues,
Yeah.
so you don't have any second doubts on comedy,
Yeah.
and commit, man. Jessica, commit.
Yeah.
It's a beautiful fucking career when you commit. And if nothing happens, at least you know
Yeah.
in your heart that you committed.
Yeah.
You gave it the best you did. Someday you're gonna meet some guy and he wants to have a kid with you,
Mhm.
and you're gonna go, but comedy, and you're gonna have the kid because it's what your uterus is calling for it,
Yeah.
and you're gonna go. You know what? I gave comedy a break, and that's why I was feeling bad about not doing comedy at first. When I was doing it, I was all in.
Yeah.
And before the pandemic, I was all in,
Oh,
Jessica,
I
and
know.
I was the strongest I could be. I mean, I really worked on it. And that's
Yeah.
why I think that I don't want to do stand up, because I put so much of myself into it.
Yeah. You were at
Like,
the
it was so
store.
rough, humble. So it
God.
was a rough 30 years. I enjoyed it. I wouldn't change anything about it. I
Mm.
would do it again if I had the opportunity.
Yeah.
But most importantly, I'm really happy I did it the way I did it. So
Oh, God. I'm so impressed. Your just your work ethic alone too. I'm like, thank you
so
so
are you.
much.
I'm happy that you did this, and I'm happy that you reached out. Thank you very much for your time.
Yeah.